So I'd like to invite Mr. Conrad Adigwe, who is the founder and CEO of Sophia ERP and our gracious host for today. The developers of Nigeria's first indigenous ERP business solution deployed beyond Africa in the UK, USA, UAE, Canada, and Australia. He's also the director and innovation and digital transformation at Techify in the UK. He is married to Dr. Amanda Adigwe and they are blessed with 3 children. He will be speaking today about paper to pixels, transitioning to a digital ministry.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, our amiable host, and thank you for taking us on from the beginning till this point. And I want to thank all the pastors, leaders, amazing people here. Thank you for coming to this amazing event. This is the maiden edition of a Church Tech Talk series, and we are hoping that this will evolve into quantifiable action over a period of time where the church global is able to rise up to the challenge of becoming innovative and using technology to accelerate its administration and processes. Okay, so what is my conversation with us this afternoon or morning if you're joining from the Americas is to talk to us about what it takes to transition from the analog system to the digital ministry, from paper to pixels, transitioning to a digital ministry. So we're going to be looking at this under three angles: plan, deploy, analyze. PDA, well, not the other PDA, but another, plan, deploy, and analyze. How do you transition? How do you move from where you are to that, digital, disposition within your ministry? How do you eliminate bottlenecks, streamline your processes? How do you become a true digital ministry or foundation? First thing I'd like to say is every ministry, every church, every organization has a share of administrative tasks. Now, these are things that cannot be done by the Holy Spirit. Not that he cannot do them, but he will not do them because that's our responsibility. Now, there are things the Holy Spirit will do, and there are things that we have to do. Now, what has happened over time is, because the church, of course, is, firstly a spiritual organization before, all the physical elements. We've been very reliant on the Holy Spirit and, all the spiritual elements to get things done, which is absolutely good and great. But as the digital age has come upon us, a number of churches have not transitioned in the method that they have deployed to get things done. I mean, you can't replace the function of the spirit side of the church. It can never be replaced. So this is not in any way to say, oh, once you do this, everything is fine. Absolutely not. Technology is always going to be an enabler of anything you're doing. So the idea of bringing the consciousness of technology to the church is to enable the church function a lot more effectively. Now, because we are saddled with administrative tasks and we must do them, in certain churches you have to send reports to your HQ, and it will take a lot of time to crunch through those numbers and pull things together, sometimes from different sources, from different units, from different departments. So either way, whether we like it or not, we cannot but deal with these administrative responsibilities. The question is, how are we doing this? Are we effective? Are we proactive? Are our processes streamlined? So we're just going to be looking at some of the things we need to do as we begin to envision, okay, right, they're saying, at this event, we need to transit, from analog to, digital ministry. From the poll that we've done earlier during the session, we saw that quite a number of churches say they are somewhere in the middle, right? If I'm right, Tomola, quite a number of people said their churches are somewhere in the middle. The question is, why aren't we taking the bull by the horn? Why aren't we really, really transiting? What is the fear? What is the hesitation, and why is there a lot of hesitation? So we're hoping that this will help us see how to transit. So we talk a lot about digital transformation. What is digital transformation? And what is not digital transformation? Some establishments think that they are digitally transformed because they have certain things. So we're just going to look at 4 of them. So the first one I have is injecting digital technology into your existing business process that has not been streamlined. That is not digital transformation. So yeah, you say, okay, yeah, we've heard, yeah. We're going to get all the XYZ's gizmo here and there. And you haven't looked at your system, your process. And then you just inject them here and there, like dye and all that, just like the way you spread salt, and just spread it across and you say, yeah, now we're digital. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't be digitally transformed if your process is not streamlined. So if you're thinking of taking on this journey without thinking of looking at your processes, existing processes, to identify the bottlenecks, then you will not be successful in this exercise. Now, some people think, yeah, we have social media. What are they talking about? We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we stream online, live broadcast our services and all that stuff. So we are digital. No, that's not being digital. You're just using digital tools to reach out to your targeted audience. That's very good. It's one of the components, but that's not all there is to being digitally transformed. Some other people say, you know what, we have a robust, ad campaign, and we're always there on social media. We have a strategic plan to reach out. That is also very good, but that is not the meaning of digital transformation. Some churches will even tell you why. We have Google Forms. Why do we need a software? And we just have, Google Forms here and there, and then people can just download, fill the form, and we download the results and analyze and do all our analytics. Excel is also a visualization tool and XYZ. Yeah, that is very good. That's a good to have. As a matter of fact, I've seen some churches use the Google form to collect data by or from visitors and first timers or new converts and stuff like that. While that is good, it is an isolated system that is not talking to any other part of the building, any other part of the system. Imagine, let me give you this illustration. Imagine you have a house and every room is closed, right? You can't link from one room to another room. So if you have to go from the living room to the kitchen, you have to go outside the house, right? From the sitting room or living room, come out and get into the kitchen. So if you want to go back to the sitting room, you have to go outside of the kitchen again to go back to the living room. Now, a lot of churches, organizations have information in silos. They have the Google Forms, they have QuickBooks for financial management, they have some CRM somewhere for system, somewhere for follow-up management. They have so many tools here and there, but these tools are not interlinked. They are not talking to each other. You can't draw inference from one part of the system, and interpret in the other side of your operation. You can't see the effect of what is going on in this department from another department. That is not a digitally transformed system. So you can have loads and loads of Google Forms here and there. That's good because you're not able to capture data digitally, but it is still not an integrated system. What is digital transformation? Now, I'm not going to bore you with all of this, but digital transformation is, first of all, a journey. It encompasses all of what you see on the screen, and you're not going to get there in one day. So let's dial it down. This is not to say, oh, you have to do AI, you have to do Internet of Things, you have to do robotics for you to be digitally transformed. Absolutely not. But this is to show you that the scope, right, the latitude within that digital transformation space is large. So it is so large that even if you started that journey today, you are likely to still be behind, because this is a very fast-paced industry. And trust me, a lot of businesses who are even focused on digital transformation are trying to catch up with, the challenges and the speed at which change is happening. COVID was a disruptive moment for everybody globally. A lot of churches didn't even have digital footprints, on several platforms. And that sort of jerked a lot of people, and, churches realized that, oh my God, we don't have things, working as we thought it would. Even within the secular, the health sector and some other sectors thought they had a lot of resilience within their system because they had invested, trillions and trillions of dollars. But when COVID happened, it showed all the gaps within the system, and that's because they perhaps did not take time to really, really drill down into all the things that needed to be done and analyze to see, should there be any crisis? How resilient are we? Can we run our enterprise? Can we run our business without any disruption? I remember that time, one of the big four ran a survey across the banking sector to, just analyze how many banks were able to still perform their regular banking operation with the disruption from COVID. Trust me, the top banks that you have at the back of your mind did not even make it. They thought because they had some of all these customer user experience touch points, they had it all together. In fact, they published it online, and some banks were very upset with that comment to say, you know what, you should have told us rather than going to the public to publish, this information. So what I'm trying to say is digital transformation is a lot, but within the church sector, we can take it piece by piece, one step at a time, but it's all about the core technology, communication, data management, Internet of Things, automation, AI, and all sorts, networking, robotics, and a whole lot of other elements that we are not able to discuss today. Digital transformation, transitioning into a digital ministry, means that you have to understand how to use technology to create value. You have to use technology to create value through innovative thinking. Now, innovative thinking does not necessarily start from what you're able to invest in. It starts from the state of your mind. Sometimes innovation is not about technology, it's a way of thinking. It's a better way of doing things. And then you now bring technology to make it, happen faster, quicker, and more efficiently. If you want to transition to a digital ministry, you have to evaluate your operating model as a church. How do you collect records of new members, new converts? Where does that funnel in? All the key stakeholders that need to access that information, can they see it real time? How do you do your head count in church? You write on paper and then they have one massive sheet and then you start typing in Excel sheets, and then pastor gets the report on Monday morning. Meanwhile, if he had that report now, there are certain decisions he will make even before leaving church. So if you had a digitally transformed system, most of your records should be real time. So while the ushers are doing the head count, the pastor is looking at his mobile device and he's seeing the numbers. He's seeing the demographics. Oh, we have more men today. We have more women today. We have more kids today. What's going on? We have more people within these age brackets. And they can see in real time and make quick decisions. Digital transformation improves and finds ways to meet the demands of all the stakeholders and, of course, challenges of the times that we live in. Right. So transitioning to a digital ministry entails beyond just having some of these things. It is a deeper process that we need to really, really prepare for. So quickly, before I wrap up, I'm just going to show us a few things that we need to do if we want to take on that journey. So the first is vision and strategic planning. What does that mean? The first step in that process is to do a needs assessment. What do you really need? You need to review your key processes. You need to be clear on the pain points. What are the things that gulp time within your ministry, where the church secretary spends a whole lot of time? What are the things that drain your administrator's time? They say, "Sir, I'm on it." They come and say, "Sir, I'm doing it." And the question is, what are they doing? Can those things be automated? Where are the areas you really, really would like technology to impact? I mean, those are the areas you need to, be clear on. I need technology to deal with this. And I think within the session, I think the moderator had earlier said we would eventually write areas within our ministries we would like technology to impact, to deal with. You need to conduct surveys. What are people thinking? I mean, is there a better way we can do this? Some people may have a better idea. You need to gather input from stakeholders. Now, this last one is very important. Sometimes churches want to make, carry out change, but they're not talking to the real people. The people on ground who are literally going to do the work, they're not talking to them. They're talking to the key leaders. But the key leaders are going to give instruction to the people, they are supervising, and they are the ones actually doing the work. So if you're going to carry out digital transformation within your ministry, you have to get all the key stakeholders on the table, from the highest to the very least, because everybody has an input to make within that process. Now, the second thing I have here is you need to define the outcomes that you want. What is your strategic goal? What are you trying to achieve? What would you like to see at the end of this process? Is it enhanced outreach? Is it a simplified operational process? Do you want to make your follow-up a lot more effective so you can track? When people are calling first-timers, even as a pastor from your home, you're seeing all the activities that are being done on the field without them even sending you reports. Because many times when leaders say, let's have a meeting, let's gather together, a lot of times those meetings are about, what's happening? Okay, tell us what happened yesterday, what happened last week, and all the what. The system can do all of that for you. And that's what Church ERP really is all about. Helping us funnel all of these activities so that real time as they're happening, we can see them. What else is your strategic goal? Better communication with everybody, your workforce, your leaders, your members, your guests. Someone comes in as a guest, and then the first time he comes, we're all smiling. And we're all like, the Lord loves you, everything, welcome in the name of the Lord. And the next time the guest shows up, we can't even remember this guy. And the guy is wondering that, I thought they were all lovey-dovey last week. What happened? So there's communication in silos. We can't even identify the person because there's no system to do that. Perhaps even the card that the person filled is even missing. So you are looking at a first-timer who came last week, who felt the love of the Lord. He is now here for the second time, and the same person who welcomed him can't even recognize him. I'm talking about a personal experience I have had, and I felt like, oh my God. So I was just part of the numbers. I was just part of the statistics, right? And right after they got my number and all that, that's it. They've submitted their report, they got their accolade, and I'm just a figure. I'm like nobody. But thank God for maturity. I just had to, let it just, I just flung it out because I was just wondering. So this is how people feel when they come for the first time, and the next time they come, there's no engagement. What else would be your strategic goal? Deeper insights. Do you want to, track giving, attendance, stuff like that? People give, and then it takes forever for us to report how much has been given to the church. To the leadership, and the leadership has to forward it to HQ, and HQ is waiting, and then the pastor is waiting for the treasury department to, send the report. It can be real time. So you have to set your strategic goals, right? Then the next one I have here is be holistic. I'll probably end somewhere around here. Now, being holistic means you have to think about all the different aspects of the church operations. See the big picture. Digital transformation should cover every aspect of your organization. Ensure the outcomes provide real-time analysis and monitoring. So you're not just going to run through this process. At the end of the day, you are still waiting. You ask the administrator, where is the report? And you are here, I'm coming, sir. That I'm coming, sir, tells you that something is missing. How do you integrate all the different data points so that there's visibility for leadership? So by the time you're meeting, you're not meeting to discuss the what, you are meeting to discuss the how. You are meeting for strategy. You are meeting to spend time in prayer. You are meeting to spend time drilling down on church growth, not on the what, because the system already tells you the what. Now, I have a few areas here that you should consider your membership, and that membership involves your workers, your leaders. Can leaders go in to their own interface and see their own stuff? Can the workforce also relate? Can they manage projects, stuff like that? Is there a self-service where members have the power to update their record, or they have to come and tell you that, oh, please, my name has changed? How do you manage growth? How do you know that people are literally growing? How do you integrate people from when they come in? Churches have a lot of outreaches. How do you funnel them through your pipeline? How do you manage projects? How do you engage? What's the learning management system like? How do you track donors? How do you know who are your big donors? How do you manage your partners? How can they give seamlessly? They just come in, click, and then they give. And then you can see the record, and then you take it from there. How do you manage welfare? Do they have to fill a form? I want to see the pastor, drama, story. How do you plan your service? Do you have to physically call everybody one by one? Systems can do this thing. And once you plan your service and you click a button and it sends it to, even if there are 200, it tells everybody, look, you are on the rota and this is your schedule. And if anything changes, even when you are on the altar giving announcement, you can update the record. And while the person perhaps is using a tab or a phone to give announcement, you can have all those things change real time. How do you manage attendance? Documents. We had a scenario where a leader came from a church and said there was some fighting in a church because a leader years ago got promoted to a certain level and unfortunately it wasn't documented. So the paper got missing. So right now they're arguing whether he actually was elevated to that post or not because there's no document management system. How do you manage your branch network? Do you have analytic reports for you to see what's going on? How about your staff, your back-end staff that are employed by the church? How about your assets? So people will buy QuickBooks, they buy, that software, then buy another software, then they buy another. So one church has like 4 or 5 software for what? Data should be integrated, right? So I'm going to stop here because of time, So there's, I'm hoping that this program, this set of events would open our eyes to the possibilities that are available within technology and right at our fingertips. Hopefully, the next session would give us the opportunity to see what one of those systems called Sophia ERP Church ERP is doing to fix some of these problems. And I trust that in the weeks, months, years to come, we'll look back at this event and trace our journey, the transformative journey of our churches, and attest that truly it has enhanced our ministry, and we are right now on the growth curve. Thank you very much, everybody.